The Victory Gardens refer to war efforts during the First and Second World Wars, where American citizens and English citizens were encouraged to plant gardens to nourish their tables and also to instill a sense of proudness and alliance with the war effort, especially in young children. So in fact, it was a pretty interesting effort by the government of propaganda, but clothed in this way of bringing nourishment to everybody. I just found that idea very appropriate and timely given the United States intervention today in the Middle East, and how way back then in the 40s and 30s, people were really invested in a war effort, where today it's much more oblique. C'est pas clair. Qu'est-ce que s'est passé dans the Middle East? I just was really hoping to kind of show that there's a real amnesia culturally about what's happening. And I thought, okay, well, let me point to this effort and its propaganda forces, and then to think about reversely what's happening today. I think wrapping the United States in patriotism was so important at that time. And I thought, okay, a drapeau, you wrap yourself in a drapeau. Right? At the same time, it's a very loaded symbol, le drapeau américain. You know, comment nous voir cette drapeau, qu'est-ce que c'est l'idée de nationalisme? Pour cette raison, j'ai vraiment jardinné avec le drapeau. Aussi, dans le même temps, c'est juste une question de proximité pour l'idée et le matériau. C'est pour moi une union parfaite, parce que le matériau, c'est une protection quand nous fait le drapeau avec les vêtements or anything, mais dans le même temps, c'est un type de matériau très pauvre, c'est le burlap. Et aussi, c'est un recyclage, parce que ce matériau, c'est pour la pomme de terre, le sac pour ça, et j'ai recyclage ça, comme j'ai recyclage toutes les idées de la Victory Garden. So c'est aussi un marriage parfait. Et j'aime beaucoup aussi comment c'est très flexible. Ça correspond avec le horizon, le horizontal space. Oui, c'est très proche le matériau quand c'est tombé sur le sol et c'est utiliser tout le mouvement sur le sol. Je pense c'est une idée to make a gesture that's really grounded in the earth, to be, you know, one with your sense of gravity and space is interesting to me. And instead of having something come a monument that's glorified and rising up into the sky, I want something that's closer to, you know, the base level of things, and maybe where we all end up, which was basically in the ground. I think, you know, this idea of thinking about a horizontal versus a vertical space is pretty exciting, especially when you think about sculpture and its tradition of being incredibly vertical. So that was my interest as well. But I also think a lot about, if you think about the pyramids in Egypt and the sarcophages in these little bodies that are wrapped up in mummified space, that's what you could think about. These burlap sacks, they're almost a mummification of a symbol. And the symbol is, you know, what you consider to be, you know, your national identity, which is a flag. You know? So a mummified identity is kind of weird to me too, and interesting. You know, that's a pyramid's a mausoleum as well. Il s'appelle Holy Land, USA. And il reconstruit l'idée de Jerusalem, mais in Connecticut, in a small town called Waterbury. And this place was an attraction tourist for people that would love to go for religion pilgrimages. And it existed in the 60s and 70s and 80s, and then it fell into complete disrepair. And today, all of la nature encroachment sur la Jerusalem city. And I really like this combination of nature and culture making a confluence. And I was able to document that, and thinking about all these sort of political, religious, global questions that we're faced with today, it seemed very appropriate. And I'm looking forward to showing that in relation to the selection of sculptures on the floor. Je pense les artistes, in a way, take this for granted. It's something that you just do. Appropriation is another tool, you know, like painting, you know. You paint or you appropriate or, you know, you sculpt. It's funny how it all becomes one thing. So we haven't found any like new universes yet. We've been in our own for so long that I think it's almost impossible not to appropriate. And it's been done forever, although it was always looked at a little bit differently. You know, from the beginning of art making, it's appropriated life in some weird ways.